Welcome to today's episode of Clearing the Haze, where we're going to unpack the latest developments affecting employers, employees, and regulations that shape modern workplaces. You see, today I was writing my book and was deeply involved in that when I got an alert that the DOOBIE Act passed. So today, what I want to do is I want to dive into this controversial act that was passed by the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. You see, this bill prevents federal agencies from using past marijuana use to deny employment or security clearances. But is this an evaluation in hiring processes or a forced policy shift that leaves employers on shaky ground? Let's explore how the DOOBIE Act impacts employers, job seekers, and the dynamics of the workplace security. You see, first, let's unpack what the DOOBIE Act is and what it aims to do. So, officially, it's called the Dismantling Outdated Obstacles and Barriers to Individual Employment Act. This legislation aims to stop federal agencies from denying employment or security clearances based solely on an applicant's past marijuana use. It's a response to the growing legislation of marijuana across various states and reflects the belief that prior cannabis consumption should not automatically disqualify a talented individual from federal service. According to Senator Gary Peters, who is the bill's sponsor, this measure expands the federal talent pool by aligning governmental policy with the realities of modern social and legal changes. And supporters are arguing that it ensures fairness in hiring and recruitment, particularly as more states legalize recreational and medical marijuana. Sounds progressive, right? But here's the catch: not everyone is thrilled. You see, let's zoom in on why many employers, especially in industries where security and compliance are critical, are raising concerns. You see, the bill was seemingly well intentioned. It removes key decision making powers from employers, particularly around pre employment drug testing and security assessments. The problem is this: many employers are already grappling with evolving laws on marijuana use, and this bill creates yet another policy shift that doesn't necessarily consult those most affected, employers themselves. Federal agencies are being told they may not use past marijuana use to make suitable determinations, but what happens when that past use does matter? What if an employee working in a high risk area like national security or healthcare, or poses a risk due to prior behavior or substance abuse? Removing this decision from employers creates tension between safety, liability, and fairness. Shouldn't it be up to the employer to determine what's best for their organization? And what about their security needs? Forcing them to comply with a broad, sweeping political change can lead to friction and challenges in recruitment and in employee management. So here's a layer to reconsider and to consider. Pre-employment testing. For years, many organizations have implemented drug testing as a safeguard, not just against marijuana, but against other substances that can affect the workplace and its performance and safety. The DOOBIE Act, though, focuses on marijuana, and it raises a broader question. Who gets to decide when testing is necessary? Employers or the government? In industries where safety and public trust are paramount, such as aviation, transportation, or even law enforcement, pre employment drug screening plays a crucial role in maintaining workplace integrity. Now, while the bill ensures inclusivity, it risks creating a slippery slope where employers lose autonomy over setting their own workplace standards. Let's not forget, some industries face stricter regulations where any substance use, even in the past, can impact job performance, risk, and liability. So the question becomes, should pre employment drug testing remain the choice of employers? Or should we let politically motivated decisions dictate which employees are suitable based on shifting social views on marijuana? To understand why some politicians are pushing for this reform, we need to look beyond workplace policies and ask who benefits? While it's presented as a progressive reform, some critics are arguing that the politicians supporting marijuana policy reform are looking to capitalize on changing public sentiment and financial opportunities tied to those cannabis industries. The growing marijuana legalization movement presents significant economic opportunities from tax revenue to business investments. With more states legalizing marijuana, federal policies restricting employment based on its use could hinder growth in certain industries, including cannabis related businesses that are becoming lucrative political allies. But here's the flip side of this: federal agencies are being pressured to shift their hiring practices not based on risk management or operational necessity, but because it aligns with the political and economic interests of certain groups. This shift can detract from the original purpose of this policy, and that is to ensure safety and trust within the high security governmental positions. Let's now consider how forcing such policies can affect workplace morale. You see, the DOOBIE Act may create more inclusive hiring processes, but what happens with current employees? Those who pass stringent security clearances or abided by pre employment drug tests. See, new hires being treated differently is going to cause an issue. It's going to foster a sense of inequality and potentially reduce confidence in management's ability to make decisions about workplace safety. Moreover, if past marijuana use is off limits or for consideration, what's next? How do employers manage evolving workplace standards when they have to comply with inconsistent state and federal policies on top of all of this? When workplace policies are driven by external forces such as political motivation or financial incentives rather than employee driven needs, it can destabilize an organization's culture, its values, and performance expectations. So, as we wrap up today's episode, it's clear that the DOOBIE Act represents both progress and potential pitfalls. But on one hand, it aims to create a fairer, more inclusive federal workplace. But on the other hand, it undermines the autonomy of employers to make the right decisions for their teams, their industry, and even in their security requirements. At the end of the day, workplace policies should be shaped by those who understand the unique needs and challenges of their industry, not by external forces and political or financial agendas. Employers should have the freedom to decide what's best for their workforce while balancing inclusivity and security in a responsible way. I want to thank you for joining me today on Clearing the Haze. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and don't forget to share your thoughts on this complex issue. So until next week, I'm Chuck Marting asking you to remember that it's your vision, it's your dream, and it's your business. Take care.